Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Borough in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.
Now, there should be nothing but smiling faces anywhere in the Pittsburgh area, and that certainly includes us right here on Sportsline for a Monday night. And if you're watching the follow-up telecast of this on Comcast on Thursday night, we haven't lost or played since Sunday. So, George, we're in good shape.
I think so.
Hockey team's doing great.
7-1.
High school football coming into its final weekend.
Week of the regular season, yeah.
So
just in time for the World Series to begin. Talking about
oh,
the seasons
gosh.
overlapping, we have the end of the high school football regular season after we're 2 games into the World Series.
Kind of an interesting headline. The St. Louis Cardinals, champions of 2 years ago, only have 8 players on the roster from that team 2 years ago. That's a third, roughly, of what they had in 2011.
Yeah, Pujols left.
Right.
Lance Berkman left. Raphael Furcal wasn't available this season. Chris Carpenter wasn't available this season because of injury.
Right.
And some of the outfielders they had a couple of years ago just shows you they've had a successful transition into a much, much younger team. They had 20 rookies playing on the roster at one time or another this season. And I think at least 9 of them have been on the postseason rosters.
Yeah. By the way, the Steelers have cut Redmond.
Isaac Redmond, yes.
So he's gone, and if you're an Isaac Redmond fan, boo-hoo, but he's gone.
Yeah,
that's
the
business.
That's the way the business is. He's had a concussion, didn't know when he was going to be able to come back, and the Steelers are the last team that can afford roster spots being occupied by people who can't play.
Right.
And you see what a difference now in the team since Heath Miller has come back from the injured and unable to perform list, along with Trevion Bell, who's just done a tremendous job after missing the first several games of the season. So it's a shame, Bob, the Steelers lost to bad teams like Minnesota and Tennessee earlier this season. You can't get those games back.
We could be 4-2.
Yeah, it could be 4-2 very easily. But
not too distant future is New England down the road, right?
2 weeks from now. Play Oakland next week and then at New England on the 3rd of November. Wow. And but win a couple games under their belts, Bob. So it's
we got a couple of wins.
Kind of turning around.
At least we're not 0-6.
Yes.
So anyway,
like the Giants.
Let's take a look at rules and regulations on winning prizes here in the program, which you are eligible for. You can win a prize every other week for your household address, the Grand Salami, or the mystery profile can only be won once in a calendar month, and you can only try the mystery profile once in a calendar month. Also, multiple choice questions give you 15 seconds of time to come up with an answer. Grand Salami at 20. Mystery profile goes clue by clue. First-time callers will win more than one prize. We've been known sometimes to give away 3, depending upon how benevolent we're feeling. www.doubledribblebob.com has answers to our trivia questions. Just go online and check it out. And my radio program on sports history and sports nostalgia remains at the 10 o'clock time slot on WAVL. They're 9:10 on the AM dial. George, why don't we do this? Take a break. Got a slew of callers ready to go. Folks, stay with us. The phone number is 724-230-0430. We'll be right back. 236, I'm sorry.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
You know, Tower Auto Sales has been around for quite some time. In fact, it's going on 40 years or so. And if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, those are the people to talk with. 3 indoor showrooms. They have a full-service facility with an experienced staff. And all makes and models, including Lexus. So give Mike Fanto a call at 412-828-6202. And that's Tower Auto Sales. All right, George, why don't we go straight to the phones?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Talk. I think Tony leads off again. Tony.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, Tony.
Okay.
George, you made the statement we can't afford to have anybody on the team that can't play. There would be nobody left then if that's the case.
No, we got a few players.
Well, yeah,
Not as many as we used to.
You know, if you start getting rid of guys that are on the roster because they can't play, we would have very few.
Right. Let's say not healthy enough to play.
Yeah, healthy enough.
But I know what you're getting at.
You know where I'm coming from.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. When's LeBeau going to let these defensive backs get up in there, the face of the receivers, and start playing football? Like Mel Blount used to doing that. I'm telling you the truth. If I was a receiver from another team and I wanted to say something bad to the cornerback, I'd have to use sign language. That's how far away they are. That's ridiculous. I don't know.
But that's their scheme, to play off the receiver.
Yeah, I know, but I can understand in 1st and 10, but when it's like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, we're still that same distance off the ball.
Yeah, you have that area behind where the linebackers usually play that's unoccupied, and it's very easy to catch somebody on a slant pattern. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. And defense gave up another lead. This has been going on too long.
Well, the defense had to play an almost perfect game because the offense was just getting in line close enough for field goals. That's what the problem was. And if Derek Moy from Rochester High School catches that touchdown pass, that he had go right through his hands, that long drive by Baltimore in the 4th quarter wouldn't have been that much of an issue.
Yeah, but that's another gripe I have. Every time for the Steelers, if it's 3rd and, I've seen it do this, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, we go for the end zone all the time. And we go deep. Get the first down, keep the ball moving, keep the clock moving. I just don't get that.
Well, they used to do that when
in the old days when Bart Starr and that, it'd be 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, and they would throw the bomb. And that was 100 years ago, and everybody knows about that.
Well, 20 years ago they did that when Neil O'Donnell was the quarterback, and people got mad. But it was working though.
Right. but let's get the first down. We're supposed to be throwing short passes. That's our scheme, and then go deep once in a while. But I just can't see it on 3rd down and short, to do that, because we're not fooling anyone. They all know we do it now. So you're not fooling anyone on that, on that thing. And the plays in the red zone are ridiculous. Not like that shovel pass was nice. And, they got to do more things like that. They got to start hitting these big tight ends we're supposed to have.
Yeah.
Just, they try to run the ball from 20 and it's not working. And it's not working. Too many field goals. It's going to cost us down the line where somebody's going to, they're going to stuff us and the field goals are not going to be good enough.
Sooner or later, Sweezum has to miss one. Although he's been so solid this year.
Yeah.
He's 16 for 16, I believe.
What old ball Prince said, hitting vigorish.
Hitting vigorish, absolutely.
He came into the
the more
game
times you miss, eventually you're going to hit, and vice versa.
Right.
So I just hope he doesn't miss till January.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Hang in there.
Yeah. Now, high school season coming to an end. That's a shame. It went so fast.
Time flies when you're having fun, Tony.
Yeah, I know. I've been going down to the Shady Side games with a friend of mine. His grandson.
Okay.
Plays for him, and I've been going with him. He doesn't have he said, hey, it'd be nice if you go. So I went with him. And, and they play Summit Academy.
This past week, yeah.
And, Summit Academy, they just line up and they go right at you. They don't... Nothing fancy, and they don't even throw the ball that much.
No, not a lot of finesse there.
No. I don't know how Valley lost them the way they did. I understand they lost their quarterback for that.
Right.
But
that didn't help.
But still,
they were down to their third-string quarterback by the end of the game. But
right.
You're going Friday now. Shady Side and Katanning are playing.
Oh yeah, Katanning, yeah.
Katanning's trying to be undefeated in the regular season for the first time since 1976.
Not bad for a team they picked. What'd they pick them? 2-7.
2-7. Oh yes.
Yeah, they picked them 2-7.
The birdie at the Valley News Dispatch is being reminded of that constantly.
Well, he should be. But
by the way, Tony, did you catch the Denver game with Indy?
Yes, I loved every minute of it.
The 4-hour football game.
Why? What do you mean you loved every minute of it?
Manning losing.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. The young kid, that's the new gun, so...
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I don't know, Manning must have thought they couldn't replace him. So...
that attitude, as you've just displayed, bothers me.
Why? Why does it bother you?
You go where the money is.
The money? I don't have any money. Why should I go with it? If I want to go with the money, Bob, I know you. That's all I need.
Right. We'll go to lunch sometime.
I know.
All right.
But I like to see games like that. I don't think he was treated right. By the owner.
Yeah,
but,
he was released.
Huh?
He was released. He had no choice.
No, yeah,
well, I don't want to say released. They said they were
the
not going to renew his contract.
But I heard somebody explain that he wasn't really knocking Manning down. He was saying that it was his fault that he didn't get, build a team around him that he should.
Yeah.
That's what the guy was trying to explain, and so you could take it any way you want.
Well, he's not very good with his words. He's good scheduling moving vans in the middle of the night, but he's
there you go. Sure.
He's not very good with words.
Yeah, but I understand that.
And it's tough to watch.
But hey, what are you going to do?
It's tough to watch a guy that was the face of the franchise
for many years,
and to see him not in a Colts uniform. Of course, it's been a few years now.
Yeah.
But still, anyway.
But you see how many of the players and the coaches come up to him after the game? Yeah. They're shaking his hands and hugging him and all that.
Right.
And that's nice. And that, and that way they still respect them. And
always a place for that, as far as I'm concerned. Do you realize as of next year, Tony, the Indianapolis Colts will have been around longer than the Baltimore Colts? Is that hard to believe?
It is.
Yeah, oh man, yeah. That is. It seemed like the Baltimore Colts are there forever, but I understand what you're talking about.
And they really weren't there with the Dallas Texans, and then they moved to Baltimore.
Yeah, when they started.
In '53,
Huh.
Tony, tell us about your prizes you won last week.
Oh, man, I got some great prizes. I got Golden Dawn. I got Krause's, which is great for breakfast. Fila Bianca, which great place to eat.
You better believe it.
I go out there all the time. I go there. I don't need certificates to go there. I find a place that I like the food. I'm going back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to wait till I win something, you know. And and I guess this is what this is all about. That's why they give these prizes away. You know, they want you to return business, but not just when you get a certificate.
Right.
And
for that, Tony, I'm grateful for the way you build up the show.
Yeah,
So-
hey, I was just out there, last week. I was talking to him and asked him about, he said he just gave you one. I said, well, I'm going to try and win it. And guess what? I did. So he said, good. I'm glad. I hope you win it. You're a good customer. I said, no problem. Wait till I see him this week. I'll see if I make him happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what this is all about. And people have to, realize if if they don't have no return business, they might quit giving it coupons. And I know. And what the heck? Like I said, if you find good food, please go back, eat.
Absolutely.
Here you go.
You're going out anyhow. So, but and I had some Taco Bells, and I had a nice arrangements of gift certificates. So thank you, Bob, very much.
All right, Tony, thank you for the call.
And guys, take care. We'll
Okay.
let's hope we can finally win in Oakland.
Okay,
For
that's
Bebop
for sure.
time.
Oh, doesn't New England ever come to Pittsburgh anymore?
Doesn't look like it. That's a kind of a way the schedule works out.
Oh, I know what they're doing. They're taking Kansas City's spot.
Yeah.
You remember we went there, 30 times in a row?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good week.
right.
We'll see you next week.
All right, Tony, appreciate your call. Tell you what, we've got, I think, Terry on the line holding, so let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll chat with Terry. All right. So, folks, stay with us here on Sportsline, and we'll be back. Terry is our next caller. Be back in a moment.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Toronto and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
And if you're one of those guys who right now looking for some tasty pizza, make sure you give Mattio's Pizza and Subs a call, 724-904-7312. They're located in Brackenridge Heights, and great pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs and hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and lots more. And they, of course, have their signature Iron Man hoagie. Give them a try. Mattio's Pizza. Okay, let's get back to the phones. Terry's on the line with us. Terry, welcome to the program. Good evening.
Hey, I was going to talk to you guys, but you made me hungry, so I'm going over to Mattio's. I'll see you around.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Hey, perhaps a couple of pieces of baseball news you haven't heard yet. Jim Leland has retired.
Yes.
And the other is that Francisco Liriano has won the National League Comeback Player of the Year award, and now is the only guy to have won it in both leagues.
I'll be darned.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's deserved. And guess who came in
absolutely.
second in the voting?
second in the voting. So I know Marlon Byrd was third. Oh,
Yeah.
Melanson.
Pardon me?
Mark Melanson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remarkable, isn't it?
So 3 Pirates were in the top 3 in the comeback of the year balloting.
Yeah, yeah. So, question for you. I don't really have too much tonight, so I'm going to get off the line. But a question for you, George. What do you think the chances of the Steelers being 4-4?
They have to beat New England.
Well,
right?
they have to beat New England. Now,
Right.
Oakland is winnable, but they just can't seem to win out in the Coliseum out there. And I don't know what they're calling it anymore. I just still call it Oakland Alameda Coliseum. In the days of Kurt Gowdy and Al DeRogatis coming on at 4 o'clock with the old Oakland Raiders with John Madden as coach and so on. But, you know, then you go up to New England, and I don't think Tom Brady played very well yesterday at all. You know, you don't want to put that in the beatable category, but if Brady plays against the Steelers like he did yesterday against the Jets, you know, I think the Steelers have a good chance in that one. Then you play Buffalo and Detroit, 2 very winnable ball games. So,
Yeah.
And we could be
Speaking
6-4
of
before you blink an eye.
Regatta, who was the color analyst on the Steelers broadcast yesterday? Because I thought it was Al. I heard that voice. I couldn't believe it.
that was Dan Fouts, used to quarterback San Diego.
Was it? Boy, it didn't sound like Dan Fouts at all. For me, anyways. Okay.
I did not enjoy, by the way, and I get into a discussion with this with somebody earlier. I did not enjoy the play-by-play man in the game, and I can't even.
Ian Eagle.
Yeah.
The only person I've ever heard of that pronounces Ian is Ian. I've never been impressed by him. There's a number of them that I have not been impressed by, but I think of all the big-name announcers, Kurt Gowdy is the worst, was the worst. I thought he was just horrible. I mean, the number of times that he called Three Rivers Stadium Riverfront Stadium, I mean, even things that simple that he couldn't get right.
Well, how about the guys used to get Chuck Noll and Chuck
Knox?
Knox?
Oh, yeah.
That was him.
That was probably Kurt, too.
that was him. And second baseman Renee Stinnett.
Well, she was pretty good.
And what else? Oh, I think it was 1977 NCAA playoffs. He did the Kansas Jayhawks opening game. He mispronounced the names of all 5 starters for Kansas.
Oh, my God.
That's not easy.
You know what? Even at my age, I got a shot yet.
You got an excellent shot. If Kurt Gowdy was your only competition, Bob, you'd be the number one announcer in the country. He'd be a distant second. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I better get off the line.
Wow.
Okay, great.
Terry,
great
appreciate your call. I hope you enjoyed. What prizes did you get last week?
No, I got the car detailing
There
prize.
you go.
Where was this now?
Oh, heck. I can't think of the name of it. It's down on 7th Street.
Lombardo.
Community.
Oh, you're talking about the oil change. Community Auto.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Okay.
exactly right. Yeah.
You said detailing, and I'm thinking it was either Lombardo or Automotion, so one of the two.
Yeah. No, it's the other one, and they list detailing as one of their things they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, community. Yep.
Well,
Okay, thanks, guys.
Okay,
right.
Terry, appreciate your call. I think, is it Mark on the line? Mark, good evening.
Oh, good evening, fellas.
Hi, Mark.
I just want to, I don't know if anybody talked, but you're a year up in Leechburg now, correct?
Right.
We've been here a year and a month.
Okay, I thought it was October you actually started the first show when we came up there for the live first show.
That was
wasn't it?
October. This is October a year later.
Yeah, but I'm saying it was in October. It's okay, yeah, you're a little bit past the year already.
Right.
Okay, of Florida State, Alabama, and Oregon, who do you think has the best chance to go undefeated?
Well, Alabama has that SEC schedule, but so far they're navigating it quite well. Oregon, you know, the Pac-12 is a little better than normal this year. But Florida State, to answer your question, I don't think they have many more impediments until they play Miami. So I think to answer your question, I'm going to say Florida State.
Okay, because I was just looking in the sports today, and there's like, about 7 or 8 teams that are undefeated so far this late in the season.
Yeah.
which is, I don't know, is that unusual or no?
Well, not that quite. We're, what, 7 or 8 weeks into the season? Yeah, it's not that unusual. Ohio State is still undefeated. Clemson has only lost 1 game. Texas A&M now has lost a couple, haven't they?
And that, Texas Tech, West Virginia game was pretty good on Saturday.
That game turned out to be a lot better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Tech was going to run away with them. Then they let West Virginia get back, and then they came back at the end. But that was pretty good. Okay, and for high school football, Valley has no chance for a home playoff game.
No,
that's correct. That's correct.
Nope.
They lost to Katanning.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I guess I better go in for the trivia since I'm here at work. I don't have
to do this one, George?
Multiple choice, please.
Multiple choice. Okay. We're going to start here with the first multiple choice question of the evening, and it is a good one. Among all participants, Mark, name the only person to be ejected from a World Series game twice. Obviously not the same game, but 2 different World Series games in his career. Is it Bobby Cox, Lou Piniella, Earl Weaver, or John McGraw? 4 of the greatest managers in baseball.
I think it was Bobby Cox.
And you are absolutely correct. We have a winner, Mark.
Oh,
congratulations
to
you.
First time in 2 months almost, so it's...
Well,
I'll make my wife happy.
Good. Get a prize out to you quickly.
Okay,
Thanks, Mark.
thank you very much, fellas, and have a good night.
Okay, let's go to Chris up next. Chris, thanks for holding on.
Hi, Bob. Hi, George. How are you guys doing?
Okay.
First of all, happy birthday, George, coming up this week.
Thank you. Yes, indeed.
How about that? I didn't even know.
Yeah, he's going to be 60 because I'm 10 years old. I'm 10 years younger than him.
Yeah, that's be hitting the big 6-0.
Yeah. So how about them Steelers? I think you're doing some decent ball for a change.
Yeah.
I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the Penguins. That's my favorite thing, is the Penguins now. To only lose 1 game, I mean, look what they've done in previous seasons.
Right,
I think this is just a revenge as far as the from the playoffs because they didn't get in last year.
I think it was back in the late 80s when they started 7-0. I don't remember the year, but
I think you're right.
They were 7-0 before they lost a game, and you kind of.
And they're 7-1. Colorado coming into town tonight, also 7-1. Boy, they don't play the Colorado Avalanche very often.
And they've got a highlighter on that team too.
Yeah.
A kid from
Sidney Crosby's hometown.
Yeah.
And as I say, Newfoundland, it's
one
Nova
you usually
Scotia.
lose to, isn't it?
What's that, Chris?
That's one of the Avalanche is usually one of the rougher teams, isn't it?
Yes, Colorado's a very good franchise. They won the Stanley Cup not too many years ago. Now they have Patrick Waugh, the former Montreal goaltender, as their head coach now, and he got thrown out of the first NHL game he ever coached a few weeks ago. You know, kind of like our question, I don't know if you were tuned in a few minutes ago, of Bobby Cox getting thumbed out of a World Series twice in his career. We now have Patrick Waugh, who gets ejected from the first NHL game in his coaching career. But he's doing a great job out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Bobby Cox had a temper on him, if I remember correctly.
Boy, he absolutely. Oh, yeah. You don't want to get on his bad side.
And Marge Schott was another one.
Yeah, you don't want to get on her bad side either.
You know who Marge Schott reminds me of?
Who's that?
Ellis Maloof.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Alice Maloof was a fine person, but you had to get your work done, and Bob will attest to this, Bob. You had to get your work done, and you had to have your paperwork turned in right. But if you did that, though, she was a great person for her job. I always thought, Bob.
Oh yeah, no, but I just remember that. I remember that raspy voice. They both had raspy voices. They were both disciplinarians, if I remember correctly.
Right, and her on-air name was Zicki Hanna. A great name for the AK Valley.
That was her mother's name.
Oh, really?
It was her mother's. It was her mother's name. Yeah.
But she said, George, you better have your paperwork in by 5 o'clock. I think I had it in 4:45 just to make sure.
Yeah, those were the days of KPA, I guess.
Oh yeah, those were great days.
Chris, are you eligible?
Yes, I am, sir. Heard, Bob.
All right, you ready now?
Yes, I have multiple choice, please.
Okay. Who's the only player to post 250 hits for Milwaukee when they were playing in the American League, and Milwaukee in the National League. Okay?
Okay,
There's
Milwaukee,
only one-
American League, Milwaukee and National League. Is that what you said?
Right. So in other words, Milwaukee's been in both leagues, and there's only one player to have at least 250 hits for both teams in those two leagues. And your choices are Jeff Cirillo, Ryan Braun, Robin Yount, and Gorman Thomas.
Robin Young.
No, good guess, but it's Jeff Cirillo. He had 472 in the American League and 528 in the National League. So that.
And he was always rumored to be coming to the Pirates. Remember the thing about his career?
You're right.
There was always rumors that Jeff Cirillo was going to come to the Pirates, and it never happened. Just like back in the 1970s, the Montreal Expos had a third baseman, Larry Parrish, and every time you'd pick up a newspaper, Larry Parrish was coming to the Pirates, and he never did.
Yeah, I remember there was one question I answered about Larry Parrish a long time ago, and you said, how did I know that? Because it was church and whatever it was. You remember the multiple choice question was a while back?
The what?
The multiple choice.
Oh, multiple choice. Oh, okay. Well,
the answer was Larry Parrish.
Yeah, he was a great ball player, and it's not surprising that he would be the answer to a multiple choice question.
All right, Chris, thanks for the call. I think we've got.
I was one of the ones you said, how did I know that? Because it was the question about religion was church, pew, and religion.
See?
There you go. Thanks, Chris.
And Perry.
All right, Vern is up next on the phone. Vern, how you doing tonight?
How you guys doing, George and Bob?
Great,
Okay,
Vern.
good.
Good to hear from you.
You got us tuned in on your on the internet?
Yes, I'm watching you on the internet.
Good.
Well, listen, take it easy at home now with that back surgery that you were on, and I hope that you're going to be able to go out dancing on a Saturday night soon.
I hope so too. But who Valley would draw in the first round? Someone like Aliquip or Mount Pleasant or somebody?
That's a possibility. The thing is, if Valley wins Friday night, they will be considered the third place team in the conference. So they will probably get a second place team, which could be Beaver Falls, which wouldn't be easy at all. It could be Greensburg Central Catholic. I think Mount Pleasant is going to win their conference, so I don't know that Valley would be going there. And the other possibility, I believe, is Steel Valley down in Munhall, Pennsylvania.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Vern. Vern, correct me if I'm wrong. Tyler Balla, who quarterbacked at Valley a couple of years ago, is now the quarterback at Central.
Right. Wouldn't that be something if they would play Tyler Balla and Greensburg
Valley
Central?
Or Central Catholic?
Yeah, he's at Greensburg Central.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had a terrific game about 3 weeks ago. I think he was involved in 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was out there.
Yeah.
But Valley had a pretty decent year. Another thing, what about the who does the juggling of the NCAA?
Who does
that?
The what?
The juggling of the NCAA football standings in the BCS Bowl.
Oh, okay. The BCS standings, that's a combination of the polls, computer rankings, and a lot of other ingredients that go into it. Much of it, I think 2/3 of it's the poll rankings. So that's why you have Florida State jumping over.
Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State and Oregon. So they're number 2 now in the BCS.
I don't understand that at all. But they don't think the Big Ten is that strong anyway.
No, and that's hurting Ohio State. The Big Ten is nowhere near what it was several years ago.
Right.
Well, Vern, let's try to win you a prize.
Oh, let's do that.
And as a matter of fact, it's been so long since we've heard from you. You get a question correct, we're going to give you 2.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, what?
You're going to get a double whammy.
Okay.
All right, so you have your choice of the Grand Salami, the Mystery Profile, or the multiple choice.
Multiple choice.
All right. Let's get a multiple choice for Vern. Who holds the NBA record for most field goals in a game without missing a single shot? This person had quite a night. He made the most field goals and the most attempts in NBA history without missing a single shot in the game? Is it Jerry West, Michael Jordan, Oscar Robertson, or Wilt Chamberlain?
Oh, wow. You got a good group here.
Yeah, that's a pretty good group.
I'm going to go with the Big O.
Oh, so close. It's actually Wilt Chamberlain. In 1967, he was 18 for 18 from the field. Maybe some of them were dunks. But
I can imagine that.
He was 18 for 18. He had himself a pretty good night.
I'll tell you what, even for a high school game, a kid, even at close range, gets 18 field goals. He's got at least 36 points.
Right there, yeah.
Right, you're right.
Well, Vern, thanks for your call tonight.
Good hearing from you, Verna. I hope you get well soon.
Okay. Guys, you want to do a break and we'll come back with another call? And who's on the line, by the way? John B. All right, John B., stand by. We'll be back right after this next break to take your call. Thank you.
Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from two locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 favorite seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
A lot going for you when you shop at Tower Auto Sales for your next pre-owned vehicle. The best in products, the best selection, best customer communication, and best service after the sale. And that's important to you. Tower Auto Sales, Freeport Road in Blawnox. Just buy it. Get a hold of Mike Fanto at 412-828-6202. And a reminder, my radio show Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, WAVL on the AM dial at 9:10 on that dial, okay? We're going to go to the line and pick up John B. John, how are you?
I'm good, guys, and how about yourself?
Good. Hanging in there.
Good. I don't want to point out that for the second week in a row, the Pirates are out of the playoffs and the Steelers win. I'm not saying, guys, but I'm just saying. There's something going on here. Anyway.
Something in the water.
What's that? Go ahead.
Something in the water.
Really, the sports gods. You can't have three good teams. I'm telling you, it's not allowed. It's verboten. Anyways, I had a question for you guys. There was just announced that Slippery Rock will be playing against Mercyhurst at Michigan Stadium, the Big House, next year. Apparently, they've had two other games at the Big House, Slippery Rock has, and Michigan has a tradition of announcing Slippery Rock's score during the games.
Right.
I wondered if you guys knew anything about that relationship, why it exists.
Well, Slippery Rock became known for its name. It sounds like a neat name, Slippery Rock. And the Michigan PA announcer would give scores during breaks in the action, and it was usually,
they would applaud,
what Ohio State was doing that day or other Big Ten opponents and so on. and he'd say, and Slippery Rock defeated
Grove
Clarion or Grove City or whomever, and there would be a big reaction from the crowd, you know, a collective laughter or, you know, something of that nature. So he kept on doing it, and finally, the University of Michigan athletic director had a, you know, Michigan, they take in more money than any other athletic program in college sports. So he had the bright idea, when the Wolverines are on the road, the stadium is empty that day. So why doesn't he bring in some small colleges, give them the thrill of playing in the big house, and see how it goes? And Slippery Rock played, well, this was many years ago. I'm going to say in the late 70s or early 80s, they played there, and they drew an incredible crowd. It wasn't 100,000, but it was a generous-sized crowd. And Michigan's had been doing that ever since. Yeah, people in Ann Arbor and Detroit give them something to do on a Saturday afternoon when the Wolverines are on the road.
And John, let me add a little something to this, and George may remember this. This might go back 15 years or so. One of the stations in Pittsburgh, and I don't recall who, on a Friday night would give all the scores, and at the very end they would say, and Turkey Foot this evening played so-and-so, and Turkey Foot, they were trying to do the same thing again.
It was Sterling Yates.
Oh, was
on
it Sterling?
KK for many, many years, and he had a kind of like, I don't know if you'd call it a jazz show or what, Bob, on Sunday morning.
It was an offbeat type thing, yeah.
And he would, in Turkey Foot, never had lights at their stadium, so Sterling Yates, he'd make a big deal about giving the Turkey Foot score, and he would say Turkey Foot in a certain way that you know, made you notice it.
Huh, I just wondered, I mean, the largest NCAA Division II crowd at a football game was 61,000 when Slippery Rock lost to Shippensburg in Ann Arbor. I'm like, really? Why is Shippensburg playing Slippery Rock in Ann Arbor? And then I heard, you know, my alma mater is playing there next year. I'm like, why? I got to go, but why?
That's
so
why.
I'm glad you guys knew that.
Yeah, they want to get something going in the big house on days when the Wolverines are on the road.
Huh. You learn something new every day.
I'll tell you what, John, if I were younger, I would be tempted, you know, to drive out there. I think Detroit is a 5-hour drive.
5 hours from Pittsburgh.
From
Ann Arbor would
Pittsburgh,
be
so
6
it's
hours.
same from here to Philadelphia. And, yeah, you'd have another hour to tack on. But, you know, you stop somewhere and have a bite to eat and a little bit to, you know, wash it down with, what have you. It's a great trip. Great scenery, too.
I've been there. I've actually got to walk on the field in Ann Arbor. It was a beautiful thing. I think I was 10. My dad, I was a Michigan fan growing up. My dad was a Penn State fan, and we went to the Michigan-Penn State game. We're walking around hours before kickoff. I was in a Michigan jacket, all small and cute. My dad was in a Penn State jacket, and one of the security guards just got a big kick out of it. So he just waves us over, and he shows the tunnel. I'm like, oh, great, well, we get to see the tunnel. There's the sign. It's all cool. And we just keep walking, and we keep walking until we're on the 50-yard line, and it was the greatest thing in the world.
How about that?
Oh, I don't blame you. Now, if you do go to that game, don't go on the Ohio Turnpike with Pennsylvania license plates and Steelers paraphernalia on your car.
Your tires will be flat at the end of it all, guaranteed.
If you go a mile over the speed limit, you'll get pulled over.
Oh, I know. They're sticklers out there, especially when they see Steelers anything.
Yep.
All right, John, how about a question?
Let's go to some trivia.
Yep. What do you want to do?
If you have a hockey question, I'll take it. If not, multiple choice it is.
It's going to be multiple choice, John. You should probably know this one anyway. So number 6 is next in order, and here it is. Name the Major League Baseball franchise who has gone the longest since winning its last World Series. And your options are the Cubs, the Indians, the White Sox, and the Phillies.
That's the Cubbies.
Yeah, John B., way to go. John B. wins. We'll have something out in the mail to you, and I understand you have a new address. Are you in state or out of state?
I'm actually down in Virginia, so
Well,
maybe you have something. Maybe I'll have to give something to the family. That's all.
All right, we'll take care of that for you, okay?
All right, thanks, Bob.
Okay. Paul, you ready? Paul from
105
our
years, Bob, since the Cubs brought home
Yeah.
the World Series.
Maybe you, I don't know if I was talking about this with Paul or somebody else recently, reminding the folks about the billy goat that Mr. Arias or Arenas brought to the Wrigley Field.
In 1945.
What I'd like to know how he got in with the billy goat.
In the first place.
But he bought a ticket. They let him in. He had a ticket for himself, a ticket for the billy goat, and before you know it, people in the area were saying, "Oh, not only does it look bad, it smells bad," and they kicked him out. And when he was leaving the stadium, Wrigley Field, he put a curse on the Cubs and said they will never, ever, ever win another championship. The last name was Sianis, Sianis.
It would
If
help
you
the
ever got a
Cubs
look.
if the billy goat would eat the other team's scouting reports. That could help the Cubs.
Well, anyway, Paul, welcome to the show.
Oh, how are you?
Thank you for stopping up.
Yeah, another great.
I heard you're running for mayor of any town.
No. Yeah, I wasn't surprised Highlands got beat Friday since they were going to, non-conference game putting JV players in.
Somebody was telling me about this where the seniors, unless they were low experienced seniors, they were the only ones that played. The first strings seniors sat on the bench the entire game.
Right.
And my understanding was there was even a lady there came out of state to watch for, I think there were two relatives that never got in the game.
Yeah, a lot of upset fans there. So, but this week I'll be at the Kiski Latrobe game. So,
Well, that brings back the days of the old Foothills
my.
Conference.
yes,
They
Kiski
played in
and
the
Latrobe.
championship at Forbes
In
Field.
1968, yes, indeed.
And I know Kiski lost that game by what, 2-3 points?
Not very much. Not
Maybe,
very much.
I think it was 7-6 or something like that.
They
because
played, it was the last high school game ever played at Forbes Field, and they had the grid in the outfield. When the Steelers played at Forbes Field, they had the grid set up from home plate out to right field. In other words, one of the end zones was home plate.
Yeah.
When Kiski played Latrobe, it was out of the, just strictly on the outfield grid.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
yeah,
But,
certainly.
historic rivalry.
Yeah, one of my favorite coaches passed away Friday, Bum Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, he was entertaining, wasn't he?
Yes.
the road to the Super Bowl goes through Pittsburgh.
And Terry Bradshaw was all teary-eyed on the pregame show yesterday. I guess Bum Phillips always gave him snakeskin cowboy boots every year, and he's like, you just don't do that. But Bum Phillips being him, it was, special to him to receive those boots every year.
I don't know if you're aware of this, and I could be wrong about the team, but I thought that Terry Bradshaw's brother played for Bum Phillips. I might have the wrong team. Did he not play for Houston?
Not sure.
Not sure.
No. Who did Pastorini play for?
He played for Houston.
Okay, that's where Bradshaw's brother played. He was the backup to Pastorini for 1 year, by the way. So,
And he was something else. When they played in the Astrodome, he wouldn't wear his cowboy hat that he wore when they were playing an outside game. And he said, "My mama told me never to put the hat on in the house."
Yeah.
Yeah, then they played the Thanksgiving Day game. They were talking 78. I think both Dallas and Houston before the game was like 9-2 or 9-3, and that was like one of the highest rated Thanksgiving Day games. That was something else. He was quite a coach, and he
came close to getting a Super Bowl a couple of times. He lost to the Steelers, and the 1 year Mike Renfro, the wide receiver for the Oilers, was called out of bounds on a touchdown catch, and the replays showed that he was actually in bounds. It cost the Oilers a trip to the Super Bowl, and from that we got a few years later the replay. The original replay, I can't remember how it went now, but it wasn't with a red flag or anything, but each coach had X number of replays or replay requests or something. But a few years, and that was from Renfro, whom Bum Phillips coached.
Even on the replay, Merlin Olsen said that was definitely a touchdown by Houston, and if they had instant replay back then, probably.
And by the way, By the way, speaking of you know, the coach's challenge, that if the other team huddles up quickly and snaps the ball, it's no longer reviewable.
Right.
There's no way around that thing. You can't. You just can't adjust the rule to say that if a coach wants to throw the flag and he's thinking about it, he's got his headset on, and he's talking with an assistant coach up in the booth and saying, "Coach, go for it." Now, coach, it's too much of a gray area. Let it go. We're going to lose the timeout. By the time they're going through all of this, the team huddles quickly and runs the play, and you can't challenge anymore.
Right.
Are we able to take a break and then come back and chat with Paul?
Yeah, I guess we can. All right. Let's do that, folks. Commercial break time here on Sportsline Trivia. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys, Lower Borough.
I just want to remind everybody, Christmas is closer than you think. Get a copy of my book and buy it for Christmas for a special friend. That's all I'm going to say. And George has a book, too.
Dueling books. Well, mine is Ali Kiski Sports History. It's available for $19.95, same price as Bob's book, same publisher, and also a sports book. And mine is available at Costello's Printing in Tarentum, and at the Kling & Smith drugstore chain in the Armstrong County area, Leechburg, Katanning, Ford City, and Freeport. So when you're making out your Christmas list, be sure to add Ali Kiski Sports History. Bob?
Yeah, we've got, Paul, we've been chatting, you know, kind of back and forth here about some loose items. Where'd we leave off?
Bob Phillips. We were talking about and how replay came about with the Mike Renfro non-catch ruling in the AFC Championship game in 1980.
Boy, that goes back a while, huh?
Seems like a couple hours ago that happened.
In a way. I still have memories of the AFL. It was always Kurt Gotti doing the play-by-play. I don't think Chris Schenkel was ever involved in.
I don't believe so. He was an NFL guy. In fact, he did the New York Giants games when they were at Yankee Stadium.
Speaking of announcers, Keith Jackson is now what, 80, 85,
yeah,
83?
83, and,
I think he lives in Seattle.
Yeah, I knew it was somewhere out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But,
and I remember, you know what it really hits you is when you hear the news that this announcer or that announcer has decided only on home games, in his case it was Washington, the Huskies, right? And he's no longer going to travel with the team to do the away games. And then you think about, wait, this guy's getting up in years. No wonder.
Vin Scully, too. He'll be back next year with the Dodgers.
In 80 what?
Yeah, 85, I believe. So he would be
God
86
bless him.
Wow.
next baseball season. He's the only Dodger holdover from the days in Brooklyn. That's when he started his career. But, you talk about, Bob brought up the old AFL. How many Western Pennsylvanians, I put in a column a couple weeks ago, were prominent in the old AFL? Jim Nance from Indiana played for the Boston Patriots, the old AFL before they began, after they became the New England Patriots. They're naming a street after him in Indiana, and it's the now known as 5th Street. It connects the main drag, Philadelphia Avenue, to the Indiana High School football stadium. We had Jim Nance from Indiana, Cookie Gilchrist from Harbrack, Fred Bolitnikoff from Erie Tech, George Blanda, and how can we forget Joe Namath from Beaver Falls, who really signed the first big mega contract in sports and kind of made the AFL. And how about Babe Perilli from Rochester?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Don't forget Babe.
Great players in the old days of the AFL coming from Western Pennsylvania really helped make that league.
Yeah. And very few of them, Lance Allworth, did he not play for the long? Well, no, he had the longest tenure of any AFL player.
I believe so. I think he was the only. I think you might have had it on one of the questions one day. The only player to play all 10 years in the AFL for the same team.
Right.
I believe that's what it was.
Yes.
But boy, that was great football too back then. The NFL was
and they brought us the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, the NFL was sort of the stodgy, old-fashioned, 3 plays up the middle in a cloud of dust. Where the AFL had loose passing rules with Darryl LaMonica.
The West Coast offense.
Yes.
And I think Oakland and Kansas City in the AFL, they played every Thanksgiving at home, if I'm not mistaken.
Who was that?
Oakland and Kansas City played.
Okay, I'm not sure, but they both had a great rivalry.
Because I looked up Thanksgiving Day games, and it had, like in the '60s, like Dallas, Detroit. Yeah. Then there was like 4 games on Thanksgiving, like the Chiefs in Oakland were home most of the time in the '60s.
And the Boston Patriots played for several years in Fenway Park.
Was Capoletti a member of that team?
Yeah, Gino Capoletti, absolutely. Right. And the kickers were real football players.
But he was not Western PA, was he?
No, I don't believe he was from Western Pennsylvania. But they had just so many great stars, and Jack Kemp for one. I was fortunate enough to interview him a couple of years before he died when we were talking about Cookie Gilchrist and the boycott he organized at the All-Star game in New Orleans in 1965, and he had some words of praise about Cookie Gilchrist, but he was just a great person who made a successful transition into politics.
Right. Yeah, Boston Patriots playing at Fenway. I think the end zone was in front of the Green Monster.
Yes, it was. It was strange. They had to fit a 120-yard grid in Fenway Park. It wasn't easy.
Well, you kick the field goal, then the ball would hit the wall and then come back within 2 seconds.
When they played pro football at Wrigley Field, the corner of the end zone butted against one of the brick walls, or the brick wall behind home plate. And I remember a story about Bronco Nagurski running the football, and he was spinning around, and he ran the wall with his head, didn't realize what it was. And they helped him back to the bench, and the last guy that hit me was big, wasn't it? Anyway.
Like at Pitt Stadium, I think they didn't have any nuts behind the goalposts because it was so far away from the seats.
Everybody walked away with a souvenir.
The only stadium ever they didn't have the nuts behind the goalposts.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, you were a winner last week, so you're not eligible this week. But folks, we invite you up to be a part of the studio audience if you like. We're on Siberian Avenue in Leechburg, and hope that you'll make the trip someday. Thank you for watching tonight. We enjoyed being with you, and we'll catch you next week at the same time. I'm Bob Tattern.
George Guider.
And good night.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.